Hello, this is Brett from SurvivalComms. I picked up a Lab599 TX500 from another Ham Club member. Now, I really dig the pressed Cuban sandwich form factor, and the included speaker mic is of decent quality, but I prefer a headset for an HF radio. The provided audio interface accessories with the radio are pretty lame, so today we're going to interface this Heil Pro Micro headset with an HC6 dynamic element to the TX500. I also use this headset with my FT817, so I don't want to chop it up. Rather, I want to build another PTT interface similar to this one I produced for the FT817. Now, this information relayed in this content will assist the viewer in not only manufacturing a headset adapter for the TX500, it will also equip the viewer with the basic knowledge of interfacing a Heil headset to most common two-way radios.
This is the connection point on the radio we will be working with. The connector is a GX12 family female 6-pin connector. Here is the pinout looking at the back of the connector. The first connection we will discuss is the receive audio, which is pin 1 and pin 4. The receive audio on this radio is balanced, meaning that the output is not tied to chassis. Do not ground either audio output, and when connecting this radio to test equipment, you need to use an isolation transformer. Connector audio low to the sleeve, and our audio high to the tip, and you can see that we've got our audio lit up now on our headset. Our next connection is our microphone audio. Microphone audio is unbalanced and returns through the chassis ground pin 6. There are two microphone input pins, pins 2 and pin 5. The TX500 will work with both common microphone element types, but selection of the correct pin is encouraged and in most cases required. There are two common microphone element types in contemporary two-way radio equipment. These are the dynamic and the electret. Microphone technology is a real rabbit hole, and we're just going to stand at the edge of that hole. The mention here is for viewer awareness. The electret microphone is what the TX500 is using in the factory speaker mic. The common electret microphone requires a small bias voltage on the microphone line, as seen here, and pin 5 of the TX500 provides this DC using pin 6 as a return or microphone ground. The dynamic element that is used in the headset we're going to wire this radio for does not require a bias voltage, so we will be connecting it to pin 2. This pin selection interoperability and mic line connection in a microphone connector is not typical of most two-way radio equipment. The takeaway here is if one connects a dynamic element to a mic line with a bias voltage, damage can sometimes occur. The curative addition of a small 1 microfarad tantalum capacitor in the mic line acts as a DC block. The Heil dynamic elements have a 1 microfarad tantalum capacitor inside as a contingency, but be aware of what you were working with. And our final connection we're going to need to make is for our push-to-talk closure, and that's accomplished by connecting our PTT pin 3 to ground, placing the radio in transmit. A 2-pole momentary switch is connected across here. Test 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's discuss the Heil headset connection points. Heil headsets use two 3.5 millimeter unbalanced audio plugs, one stereo and one mono. The mic plug is the light-colored mono one, and the tip is the mic line, and the sleeve is the mic return. The dark-colored stereo one is our receive audio, and our tip is our receive audio on this single speaker headset, and the sleeve is the return. On a 2-speaker headset, the ring is the second channel. The ring in this headset is not connected to anything. Well, let's build our interface cable. You're going to need a GX12 6-pin female connector.
You're going to need a couple of 3.5mm stereo jacks. This is just a microphone cable here. This is one of the Workman ones for CB radio stuff that you can get on Amazon, and you can see it features a shielded audio line, which is good. You're going to need some glue-lined heat shrink tubing, and this is just an El Cheapo remote starter switch, and these are great for this application because they're extremely durable. First, we're going to attach a GX12 connector to our microphone cable. We're going to loosen this clamp up here. There's no need to take it off. Now take your heat shrink and we're ready to make our connections. So what I've done is I've taken the corresponding male GX12 connector for what we're working with and put that into a vise, and this makes a very good fixture for soldering. So just take your female that you're going to be soldering on and slide it in. After completing that, we're going to tin all of these conductors. Now the first wires we're going to attach are going to be pin 6, which is going to be our grounds. So we're going to take our shield and our blue wire, which is going to be our ground, or push to talk ground, and we're going to wrap these together, and we're going to take this ground and wrap it around here, then go ahead and cut that, and then we'll solder this to pin number 6. You can see we've made our ground connection and we've put some heat shrink over top of it. Now we're going to go ahead and do our other conductors. Like this is going to be our audio low. A good way to provide insulation in microphones such as this is just with the use of the jacket from some 18-gauge silicone wire. You can just take this right here, strip it off with your fingernails, and then trim it up to size. Slide it over the wire, then make your connection. Then slide it in place, just like that. Before sealing the end up with heat shrink, go ahead and do a QA check of all the conductors and make sure that there's continuity. Inspect your work and reassemble your connector. After you've reinstalled your shell, inspect your work, and this is an extremely durable connection. Now let's work on the headset interface end of our cable. You can see I've twisted together audio high and audio low, and the mic ground, which is also the shield, because the shield is running all the way back inside the cable. It's already tied in. So what we're going to do now is place some heat shrink on here, but we're going to leave a little bit at the end here because these wires are going to fold back along this cable itself. So now that we've completed that, we're going to make a poor man's overmolded connector, and we do that by stacking heat shrink on itself. So we've taken our 3.5mm connector apart. Take the body or the shell of the 3.5mm connector, slide that over first, and then we have this small insulation section here. Slide that on. Now we have two sections of heat shrink we're going to place over here. We're going to have one which is just 1/8" tubing, and then over top of that we have some 3/16 tubing. And this will all make sense once you see it go together. But that's basically what's going to happen is we're going to shrink these two down. And by doing that, it's going to build that up. And then ultimately, when we finish our connection, we're going to take this 3/8 tubing and it's going to go over top of this, and it's all going to seal up on the back side of it. So let's go ahead and solder this connector together now.
So now we've made our connections. We need to make sure that everything is still good. And we'll retest our cable before we seal it up. Now you can see our headset interface connector here and the poor man's overmolding, which works out well to seal up this connection here and to make it very robust. And to differentiate this connection from the audio connection, we'll just use a colored wire tie. And now we have completed our headset interface connections. Now we need to work on the push to talk. So now fold all your conductors over as shown. You have your push to talks on this side and your audios on this other side, or your headset interface. Take some 1/4 inch heat shrink and slide it over, and you're making a cap for the end of this connection here. Now when completed, you should have something like this. I've elected to make some changes to the original plan, and the reason why is I had completed all of this and put it together and used those two 16 gauge wires that were attached to this switch to come out, and used heat shrink to tie it all together down here, and it left me with a big lump at the bottom of it. I didn't find that to be aesthetically pleasing. So what I've done now is I've taken my automotive trim tool here and I've managed to pop the switch out. The switch itself in this particular engine starting switch was glued into place, which that's no big deal because we can glue that back in there. So what I've had to do is tag on a couple of other leads here that are going to go to the push to talk switch. And this wire is silicone wire, so it's a lot more flexible than that 16 gauge wire that was in our original. So now that we're done with that, we just insert those two wires as a guide, and then we have to insert this assembly in here, and it'll all go in just like that. And this way we can bring all of our cabling out the bottom of it, and we have our two wires exposed here at the top, and we're going to go ahead and connect our switch to this and then shove that switch back down into there with some glue on it. So we've completed our connections, and now we just shove this down into this recess here, and we can glue that back in. We could leave it loose. I mean, it's really not that big of a problem. But now our interface is completed. So here's our completed headset interface, and it came out really good. It's nice and comfortable. Everything exits out of the bottom of it, so there's not a lot of cabling issues. Let's go ahead and test, make sure our speaker's working. So our speaker is receiving. Let's test the transmit. Well, let's do our transmit test. Rhinoceros, this is platypus. I am marsupial at this time. Over. So we are looking at our sweep of the transmitted AM audio with the TX500 using the Heil headset with the HC6 dynamic element. This was captured with a 1 kHz tone at the same recorded level of my average voice captured with the sound level meter. The TX500 mic gain is set at 37 with the compressor off. Using our cursors and looking at the peak and trough values and crunching our numbers, we are looking at 95% modulation. So all told, the material cost of this headset push-to-talk interface was just under $40. The typical cost for the Heil push-to-talk interface is $60, so there's like a 35% savings fabricating our own, but the real value is in the things that we learned. You should now be aware of balanced and unbalanced audio. You should be aware of the two most common microphone element types in two-way radio, the dynamic and the electret. You should know how to check for phantom or bias voltage in a mic line, and if required, how to create a DC block in a microphone line. Awareness of how to create and implement a simple push-to-talk circuit. And then we discussed connections specific to the equipment we were working with, and then executed, completed, and tested our build, and we did all this in less than 20 minutes. I hope this helps. This is Brett from SurvivalComms. Till next time.